Beautiful Saquarema here in the region of Rio de Janeiro, playing host to the world's best. As you join us on the transition into women's surfing, the Oi Rio Women's Pro presented by Corona. Three-stack heat, Courtney Conlogue taking on Johanne Defay and the South African Bianca Buitendag in as a replacement surfer. Gig Saliers alongside Peter Mel. A big morning of action, and we continue here. Great conditions on hand this morning.
So true. And of course, a quick start. You get 3 women in the water. Excuse me. And we're going to see the winner go straight to the quarterfinals, which we're going to be seeing today. So we're going to go round 3, round 4, and round 5. So there's a lot of women surfing on tap for the rest of the afternoon.
2 and 3 will appear on your top left of screen. Meanwhile, Courtney Conlogue, the heavy hitter, coming off a win on the Australian leg, will get stuck on the final part of that ride. Beach break conditions now. We've moved from those big walls of Bells Beach, and Courtney's got to bring her reflexes to the game here.
Well, you see the rights are going to have a lot more of that bump because the water's starting to pull out. See the snap there, cuts it short, knowing that the wave's going to shut down, so she attacks it with all that bump because of the backwash. Makes that lip line very bumpy and raw. So you can also watch and kind of take a look at what's happening in the previous heats and give that acknowledgement too. I mean, the webcast is valuable for that.
Well, let's have a look at this here. Johanne Defay, backhand snap. Now second one, so bringing a run through. Of course, the exciting French surfer now a regular in the top 10. Johanne Defay currently sitting 7th on the Jeep leaderboard, falling 1 slot down. Made the quarterfinals at Bells Beach. This time last year at Barata de Juca, she got all the way to the quarterfinals, finally falling to Tyler Wright. Let's have a look at the replay.
Here she is on her backhand. You know, she spent a lot of her youth surfing the reef breaks in Reunion Island. Now spends a lot of time in France, but she has honed her skills on that backhand, and that's what makes her so consistently high on the rankings, but also so consistent during heats, is that she can produce scores going both directions really easily for herself.
Right now she's focused on this round 3 encounter here. She has to give way to Bianca Buitendag in the priority ladder here, so here we go. Blomport, as they call her back in South Africa, on the backhand.
What does that mean?
It means a little flower pot. Courtney Conlogue continually knocking on the door of a potential world title. Can she do it again this year and actually go all the way? Big ripping turn for the surfer out of Santa Ana, California. Luke Egan in her camp this year, so working more on the strategies and the clarity along with her coach. See how that brings success at the end of this year.
Let's take a look at the replay here. Takes off the peak, late drop, but keeps the speed together and lays into that turn. Just the one maneuver though, and kicks out. And then the replay of Johanne Defay on the backhand. First initial carve, not much points on offer, but nice connection for the finish move. Great run heat for her at Kokoho.
Let's have a look at what Bianca can bring here. She's got to find herself another score to add to that opener. Didn't get a great one on the last one. Nice extended turn there. She wants to keep the pace. Nice click. There's that backwash again. Keep repeating ourselves on it, but it does play a factor at the end of the rides.
This would be a great opportunity for Bianca. If she could keep this heat together, take that win, move into the quarterfinals, I think that would initiate the commissioner's office to maybe give her a couple more starts.
Oh, a little stumble there. It was a nice rip for the first turn. Johanne will just methodically finish this one off. She'll want to bank something more than that.
Well, Courtney had a little bit of a bobble on that, but she was able to finish the ride, gets that taxi back out. I don't know if that's going to change much in her scoreline. Looking at it, wow, she only has a 3.57 and a 2.93. Really hasn't put anything together yet. She's going to have a 15-minute heat. As you watch the replay here, see what happens again. After that low tide, you get a little more water, and the wave gets a little wobbly. So you've got to pick and choose where those maneuvers are going to happen. And make sure there's no mistakes. As you watch the replay here, Bianca, I think she'll improve on this 3-point ride. A little sticky in the first maneuver, but then get some rhythm here on those inside rights. Such a strong backhand once again, but again, there's that backwash at the end of the ride.
Top end of the Jeep leaderboard as we join Johanne Defay here, live action. That's a much better delivery from her.
Watch out.
Oh, there's the backwash.
The worst part about that is you eject and you land on the board. Like, luckily, she was able to get out. It looked like she was going to go right on top of it. But nice combo, right? I mean, that was straight top to bottom surfing for those finish moves. You know, Johanne surfing against good buddy Bianca.
Well, Courtney now must respond if she wants to be part of this round 3 encounter. Nice snap for her. First one, she needs more. Broken wave face. It's going to interrupt the flow. And she's going to pan out of that one with 11.5 to go. So great set of numbers we'll expect for Johanne Defay. And meanwhile, when we were at the break, Bianca Buitendag clocked to 5.8 in her scoreline.
Let's first watch Courtney on this one. First section was pretty nice, but then goes into that foamy whitewater, disengages the fins. Not going to be another score that she's going to be really stoked on. And then this. She's going to add to the 5.93 here. It's that beautiful combo. Top to bottom, all the way through. Feels like that could be the best wave of the heat. We'll see what the judges think. To just jump on into the quarterfinals. That's a result straight out of the gates.
Priority being played by Bianca Buitendag here. Nice vertical attack. That's a great technical turn. Now a little wrap, pivot as well. Loads up again. Kind of gets the timing a little wrong, but finds the end section. So productivity at work for Bianca Buitendag. Previous to that, a 5.8 in her scoreline.
Well, if she does anything higher than a 6.17, she's going to start cutting into Johanne Defay's lead. To me, it feels like that's going to be her best wave, especially with the strength of this first turn. She drops in, attacks the lip, gets the fins up and over. Midsection here, pretty good too. You know, so you feel like comparison-wise to Johanne, and you look at this is the 8.67 of Johanne Defay. Again, top to bottom, connects with the lip right there, and then the third turn. So there's your comparison.
Well, here we go. Courtney Conlogue will want to set the pace now. She's going to race through the backwash zone. And not much to find on the inside section. Meanwhile, good friends Johanne Defay and Bianca Buitendag are slugging it out at the top end of this heat. You'll see little soft left-hander, no interest for Johanne Defay there. She will hold the zone. Meanwhile, Courtney Conlogue on the replay.
Again, this right, those first sections are tough to find a steep zone, but the midsection can usually put it together. The final section for Courtney, not able to get a solid maneuver. So she's had a rough go here. She's been fighting with the wave selection.
6 waves for Bianca Buitendag and Courtney Conlogue, but they are trailing. And during the break, all 3 surfers showing interest, Pete, but Defay getting this one again off the pack.
Obviously comfortable with the backhand, seeing that these lefts are going to give a little bit cleaner face. The backwash not affecting the inside section as much as the rights.
But trailing in this round 3 encounter, and here we go. Let's see what Bianca can do on this one. Wrap, keeps those knees tucked in, moving the board backwards and forwards. That left is a fizzler. The tide is starting to move in, so we'll see little subtle nuances change here. Johanne leans into that right hand, and that also shuts down, so nothing to fetch out of scores there with a little over 3 minutes to go to make sure it doesn't affect your year-end runnings. Here we go, Courtney Conlogue, chance to rip into it. Power. This wave breathes. So does Courtney as she hacks into that one. Lots of pressure on the back foot. Now leads the board around. She'll wrap into another turn. Nice committed one. Little stab as well, and a bunny hop to finish it. And Bianca Buitendag will explode on the other side of the peak, so we'll have a look at that. But 90 seconds to go, Pete. Are we going to see anything else from Courtney Conlogue?
She's going to have to work to get back out there, and right when she gets there, there's got to be a set wave because it's a limited time. Take a look at the replay here. This is definitely her best wave. Beautiful first carve and wrap. The wave flattens out, but she keeps the speed together. Negotiates that backwash section. Again, dealing with the bump. Keeps it together all the way through the inside. Completes the ride. But, like you said, minute to go, so she would have to get all the way out to the outside. Again, on the other side of the peak, we have Johanne Defay. So she's trying to improve on a low score of a 5.93. You know, in these lefts, if you don't get the right one, they're a little bit flat, but she's connected through the inside section. Then we see behind Bianca Buitendag. So all three competitors picking up a piece of the action of the set. You see a little better left right here from Bianca. So again, she's looking for the 7.44. Feel like that's almost there.
A lot of the family members making the trips here to Brazil.
You see there's a scoreboard there, and she's looking at the scoreboard, waiting just like we all are.
Well, that whole exchange between all three surfers still being processed by the panel. So we'll hold with this moment here and wait for those numbers to drop. Numbers coming in, Pete. What are you seeing?
Well, they see the 6.07, so Johanne did actually up the ante. But now, of course, Bianca, looking for her last wave, was that a 7.58. Well, that's why you can see everyone hovering around the screens.
Well, new calculation, slight bump up in the requirement, Pete. As you said, a 7.58 required. And numbers are trickling through, and it's right in the neighborhood.
Wow.
So we'll stay with this. It's going to go over and above. It's an 8.27. Bianca Buitendag from South Africa, after knocking out Carissa Moore in an earlier round, is now through to the quarterfinals.